In this video you're going to learn everything you need to know about the Bitmap node. We'll go through all the controls and then we'll look at 3 different use case scenarios for how you might use it creatively. Okay, let's start off with the basics then. So a bitmap is basically just a type of mask, but what sets it apart is that it uses an image as its input. So you put an image in, you get a mask out, and you can manipulate that signal from the image along the way. So on screen I've just got a very basic setup in order to demonstrate the different controls and functions in a bitmap. We've got a media in on the left here, and that's in the left viewer, and this is just a PNG with a transparent background and then a couple of gradients in the middle. That's the image that we're using to feed into this bitmap, and the bitmap we see in the right viewer here. So this is actually the mask that is creating. Obviously the white areas will be transparent and the dark areas will be opaque. So let's have a dig through the controls so you can really start to understand exactly what's going on here. Firstly, there's a few controls in here that I'm not going to go over today, simply because they're more for advanced kind of 3D compositing and that sort of thing, and I just don't think it's worth you focusing on to begin with. Those are the fit input and use object and use material. So starting at the top here, we've got show view controls, and that just turns this on-screen control on and off. The level changes the opacity of the mask. And then these 2 controls below are kind of linked. The soft edge does exactly what you might expect it to do. And the filter drop down lets you select what type of blur is used for the soft edge. Predictably, the invert inverts the mask. And then we get down to this bottom section. This is where you can really shape the information that's coming from the image to the bitmap. The center X and Y controls move the position of the mask within the bounds of the bitmap. And then you've got your channel control, and this lets you select which channel from your image is being used to create the mask. Let's have a quick look through those. At the moment it's set to alpha. If you don't know, alpha is basically like the opposite of transparency. So if transparency is what's not there, alpha is what is there. So if we go to the red, and you'll see that where the red is in this gradient image, that's where the most transparency is within the mask. What's interesting to note is if you look at the grayscale image underneath, that also has a transparent area, even though we're selecting from the red mask, which tells you that it's basically using luminance as well as colour to create this mask. So these 3 are just the primary colours there, red, green and blue. Then we've got hue, luminance and saturation, which all, as you can see, create wildly different masks. The one at the bottom, coverage, that is also for more kind of complex 3D compositing, so we'll not get into that one here as well. Then below that we've got the threshold, which really allows you to kind of trim and fine-tune the selection. So it starts with black on the left-hand side and goes to white on the right-hand side. And if I pull this in now, you'll see what it does. So that's just increasing the opaque part of the mask, or the black part of the mask. And then on the other side it pulls in the transparent side. And then just below that you've got your clipping, which helps you avoid clipping your whites and your blacks. And then lastly there's a little feature that's kind of a little bit hidden, and this is also true of I think all masks in Fusion, which is if I connect another mask to the blue mask input of this bitmap. So let's grab another bitmap and connect that into this mask. And then in this bottom bitmap that it's connected to, it opens up this thing called paint mode. Now I think the name to this is a little bit misleading or unclear, because to me it's more similar to something like composite modes, and it basically tells the bitmap how to blend these 2 masks together. So by default it just merges them together, so it's almost like they become one mask. But you've also got all these other controls, and this can really add a whole nother layer of complexity to bitmaps and masks in general actually, and you can really kind of like set up some quite advanced and complicated things when you start playing around with how the masks merge together. So here's a list of exactly what each one does if you want to kind of really dig into those, and we're definitely going to use this technique in the examples to follow. So that's all the controls. Let's get on to the fun part now and start building some things. Okay, so I've already got a few things built out in here just to save a little bit of time. We've got a yellow background and then this multi-text merged over the top. And now we're just going to construct a glass next to it, just using some basic masking shapes. So let's grab an ellipse, pop that into a background, and we're going to make that background white. And then we'll grab a multi-merge and pop that into the yellow input of the multi-merge, and then that can go into the green of this merge 2 here. Okay, so let's just reshape that. So that's going to be the top of the glass. Then we'll just copy and paste that, and we're going to connect these together, and we'll just drag the bottom one down like that, and we'll just resize it a little bit. Then we'll grab the polygon and we'll just connect up the edges like this. So just to add some extra little details, we'll grab the top one and copy and paste that, pop that into another background, and then that can go into this multi-merge as well. We'll take the border width up to 0.003 and turn solid off, and then we'll just change the color of the background. Just going to make it like a light blue color. Let's go with A6 CEDC, and I'll just turn the alpha down a little bit as well. I just want that to be quite subtle really. Then we grab the bottom one and we copy and paste that as well. Another background, and then that can also go into the multi-merge. Let's resize that a little bit. Oh, and I'll also just soften the edges a little bit, and then the background colour for this one will make C7BA60. And again, I'm just going to take the alpha down a little bit for that one. Okay, so that's our image built out. So next what we're going to do is we're going to grab a fast noise. So firstly we're going to jump into the colour tab, and we're going to use this fast noise to make some liquid that's going to move and fill up this the glass and the lettering at the same time. And then we'll use the bitmaps to mask that. Okay, so we want to go into the gradient tab, we want to change to linear, grab these handles at the side here, turn it 90 degrees so that it's facing upwards. Then we want to make the handle on the right here transparent. Open this up, select black, and then bring the alpha down. And then the handle on the left we're going to keep as black. This handle on the right, we'll bring that into 0.3. See, that's moved it in there. And then I want to move this other handle right up next to it, but the easiest way to do that, don't want them to be the same value, but really as close as possible. So we'll just pop 299 in there, and that just brings them as close as possible, and then we get this nice sort of hard edge going on. So we'll go back into the noise tab, and we're just going to bring the contrast down to somewhere around about that. You can see that's flattening it out, so somewhere around there should be good. And then we'll just bring the seed rate up a little bit as well. So now we'll also add a transform node to this. That can go into the transform. Now we grab a bitmap and we'll copy and paste that. So there's 2, and this one can go into the first bitmap in the yellow input there. We're just going to leave all the settings for that as is, the default settings. Then we'll hook these 2 together via the blue mask input there. We're going to take an output from this merge 2 here and pop that into the input of bitmap 1.1, and then we'll grab a background, pop this into the mask of the background. Background color is going to be 48AAB3, which is this blue color, and then we merge that background in like that. Cool, so what we need to do is set this bitmap up here. So at the moment, if I put this one in the second viewer, that's what we've got. It's taking the fast noise and it's creating this mask. And then we're using that mask to mask this other bitmap here. So for this one, all we need to do, now it's made the paint mode appear, you see, and we're just going to change that to minimum, like that. And all of a sudden we have our image. So now all that remains to do is add a little bit of animation, and that's what this transform node is for. So if we come to near the beginning and with the transform node selected, drag this down to the bottom and put a keyframe on the position at the top there. Then come to about halfway through, drag it up to where we want it to end up, around about there, and then that looks like this. Nice, cool.
Stars shining bright above you. Night breezes seem to whisper, I love you.
So for this example, we've got this little bit of slow-mo footage of singer-songwriter Kat Kiris, who incidentally has an incredible voice, and you should definitely check her out. I've linked her Instagram in the description. Then that's followed by brightness and contrast, and that's just to give it a little boost to help create a cleaner mask, because we're going to use this as an example of how you can use a slightly more complicated image to create a mask with. So then we've also got this red background going into the media out. So let's make our first stack. So we'll grab a bitmap. Nope, doesn't want to go in there. And we want a background. We'll input into the background and then merge that onto the timeline, and we're going to take an output from here, and that goes into the yellow input of this bitmap. So let's get the bitmap set up. We're going to use the red channel, and I'm going to change the background color to yellow. So the hex code for that will be EED94C. So that gives us this nice two-tone image. Cool. We'll come back into the bitmap, and I just want to clean up the mask a little bit in these areas, so we can bring in the threshold on the high end a little bit. If you look at those areas, that's just kind of smoothing in out those kind of highlight areas there. We'll grab both of these and we'll copy and paste them and merge those onto the node tree as well. And then we'll also connect the image into the yellow input of that as well. Now let's go into the background and change the color. We're going to use a blue color this time. So that's 7AA6B3. And so far it's looking pretty terrible. Woohoo! So let's go into the bitmap and let's change the channel to blue. And in fact, if I pop this in the viewer there, this is a good time for you to really see what difference these different channels make. So if I just skip through these, you can see how each one is giving quite a dramatically different mask. So go back to the blue and let's pop our media out in there. Then after this bitmap, we're going to add a transform, and that needs to be connected to the yellow input of that transform. And then we'll use that transform just to adjust this mask a little bit, change the offset and create this more kind of layered look like that. Cool. And then as like a final thing, I'll just add in this text node that I've already got prepared. Pop that at the bottom here, and that's our final look. So let's have a look how it's looking. Nice. Okay, so same as before, I've got a few things already built out in here just to save a little bit of time. So I'll put on screen here what the settings are for these. If you want to copy them, the most important thing is in the multi-text, just make sure that in the shading tab you've got the fill unchecked, and we're using the outline to define the font instead. Okay, so let's start building out our node tree now. We're going to start by grabbing a couple of bitmaps. We'll just copy and paste that one. We'll hook this multi-text up to both of these, and then we'll take the output from the top one and put it into the mask of the bottom one. And I'll just add a merge node in here and connect these up to the green input of that merge node. So I'll just pop this in the second viewer so you can see what's going on, and let's get these bitmaps set up. So the bottom one, we've got the paint mode available here, so we'll change this to multiply, and then the top one we're going to invert the mask and then just offset it a little bit. So if I just adjust this X and Y, you can see in that left hand viewer what's happening. So by having one bitmap contained within the other one, when I offset it, it means you can just sort of see slithers of the edges. Then we're going to add some more nodes to add a little bit of animation into this and get some movement going on. So the best tool for that is fast noise. So pop that in here and let's get that set up. So we want to take the detail up quite high, about 9.5. Contrast also bring up a little bit, 1.6, and then we'll bring the brightness down a fair bit to around about -0.9, something like that. Then we're going to untick the X and Y. We're going to bring the X quite high up, in fact, to take that off the scale a little bit, and then the Y we're going to make -10, and we're also going to add a little bit of angle in here as well. Now after the fast noise we want to add in a soft glow, and for that one we want to bring the threshold up, also boost the gain a little bit and bring the glow size down. Then we'll add a second soft glow after that. For this one we're going to kind of do the opposite basically. So we'll leave the threshold down, we'll take the gain down a little bit as well, and then bring the glow size down to 0. And that gives us this. Oh, forgot to add seed rate. There we go, that would help. And now we get this nice glittery edge going on. So very easy to construct, and the real secret is the bitmap here, which does a fantastic job of creating these edges for us. That's it for this one, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.